Hi, I'm Elisabeth Dawson, and thank you for tuning in to Ways to Love Your Money. We're here on our show today, and we are going to be having our wonderful partner on the show, which is Jonathan Olow. He's an incredible advocate and advisor for people in the real estate community that want to go out and purchase their first home, their second home, their vacation home, multiple homes, investment property, and so much more. His perspective is he's truly a pilot in the navigation of being able to purchase the most expensive asset that you want to purchase in your lifetime, but with a sense of ease. So I kind of bring it back to the correlation. He talks about the pilot, and I'll let him explain it to you. But that navigation through something that we just don't necessarily have all the knowledge and the tools to be able to do. So think about it when you go on a plane. You don't go to the cockpit seat and try to, fly the plane yourself, right? You want to make sure, and you're putting trust into that pilot to make sure that, not only do you take off smooth, but that you go in your destination and then you land smooth. You don't want a whole lot of turbulence where you get a little scared or you're feeling like you can't even be on this, this tube for too long. So why Jonathan's such an incredible partner is we've been working together for many, many years. He's actually helped me out personally as well, and some of the bigger financial decisions I've ever made, he has helped me navigate through that. So I encourage you to tune into all of Jonathan's shows, and we can't wait to have more and more shows as they go on to give you more comfort and ease and a more holistic approach to how to purchase real estate with the confidence that you deserve to have. So stay tuned. We're going to be joining him in just a moment, and we can't wait for you to listen to what we have to talk about today. Hi, I'm Elisabeth Dawson, and you're tuned into our show, Ways to Love Your Money. We are here with one of our most amazing partners. He's a real estate exclusive here on the show, and he's an expert. And we're going to kind of peel back the layer today about what really the passion that's brought Jonathan to the place that he is today. We want to peel back the layer a little bit and find out, really from the beginning, the humble beginnings of all of us, what makes us tick and why we are the people that we are and how we got here. So without further ado, I welcome our partner, Jonathan Olow, to the show, and he's going to talk to us also about healthy, wealthy living, and I can't wait for you to get to know him a little bit more. Welcome.
Thank you, Elizabeth,
Yes.
so much.
Thank you.
So great to be here and partner with you and help all of our clients and friends here.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, we've helped each other in so many ways in so many years, and have met some incredible relationships and personalities. And I want people to know a little bit more about you, not just about that. You are an incredible real estate, coach, advisor, just something so much more special with the process that you do. But really, who's Jonathan Olow?
Let's peel back the onion layer here and get to the center. So, well, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. And I occasionally will get clients or friends that say, well, I didn't know that about you, and I didn't know that about you.
Right.
And my tagline, which they call it in real estate, is healthy, wealthy living. And that really encompasses not just real estate, but all of the facets of your life and where I came from and thinking about that. When you put a resume together and you really look back at what you did, there's so many things that I've done. I'll be 55 at the end of the month.
Wow.
So excited about that.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
So, but I grew up here. I'm a native San Diegan.
Okay.
I'm the third oldest of 9 children. My parents are both still alive.
Which is amazing.
Which is amazing. And
nine children. Wow. Your poor mother.
So
but
they would love to have more, I'm sure. So
I'm sure.
And then lots of grandkids. But as being one of the older of the family in the top there, you kind of had to still fend for yourself and do those things. But it did give me a great sense of having to work together as a team. We were very blessed at being able to go camping and do all those things. My dad worked civil service, and my mom was a full-time stay-at-home mom. So, we were able to do those things. And we always went camping, and one of the things that always stands out to me that my dad ingrained in my head, I don't know about the other kids, is leave it better than you found it. So we'd be at a campsite, and there'd be trash or something, and we'd leave, and he'd say, clean it all up, and go down 2 or 3 different, stations. Of course, we'd grumble, but that's just something that's resonated, in my life and also in my personal life, because you can get into a situation where you're with clients and they may have worked with another person and things got jumbled up, and now it's time. Let's just make sure to kind of clean that up. So,
well, I love that phrase that you just said. Leave it better leave it better once you've, been there, visited, experienced it, and, basically paying it forward to the next person that's going to experience that space, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And I know that, healthy, wealthy living for you is really a mantra. It's what you live by. It's what you help give and experience to more people that you come into contact with, or help them on their big journey to purchasing their first home or their second home or their fifth home or their vacation home, or even through the process of trying to sell a home. And I think that peeling that piece of your situation back to your layers, I think you also do that with the process of when you work with people as well.
Sure. It's really finding out really what's behind them and what motivates them, because it's not just about finding the house.
Right.
Realistically, if I find out after doing, an in-depth consultation, I ask, thought-provoking questions, which really get to the meat of the matter, where most agents, I'll just call them like regular agents, won't want to touch those things, but that's the important part of it. And I find in my background of all the things that I've done, I graduated, before graduating college, I was in the Air Force, so I spent 4 years there. I worked in the ICU for 4 years. So you deal with trauma and drama all the time. And so that was really one of my first jobs that I had. And then I graduated after I got out of the military. Moved to LA, worked for Marriott in their services department, and I had the opportunity to work at the Old Getty on Pacific Coast Highway. And that put me in a whole different environment of being in the arts field and how to deal with those people, because I was with the military, and being in my family, it was almost like military growing up. But it gave me a whole different set of people that I got to work with. So I spent maybe about 8 years in Los Angeles before I moved to San Francisco, and spent some time up there working in the satellite industry, which is basically real estate in the sky. And so I figure, if you can sell a space 22,000 miles away, then hopefully I'll be able to do it. And real estate really wasn't in my forefront at that point. I just started doing flipping properties in San Francisco, and ended up doing maybe about 20 properties up there while I was still working my full-time job.
You have had a very full career life.
Yes.
And really from a service point of view, and where you wanted to actually care for people as well as show them a different experience.
Yeah.
And I think you maybe, navigated through that.
And I think living through those experiences gave me the ability to work with clients today much, much better, because I was behind the scene of actually fixing and remodeling, sheetrocking ceilings, and doing the floors and making banisters and all that. I hands-on did it. Eventually, led that off. But I also was buying and selling, doing loans, refinancing. So a lot of that process I understand, so it brings it into the experience that it's somebody's first time all the time. And even if it's the second time, it's probably 10 years later. It's not something you do like depositing a check, at the bank. You do it every week or every month or on your phone now.
Well, and I think so many people, they get excited about the idea of owning real estate, or even having investment properties, and wanting to go into even like the flipping side of things. And I think when we see our economy, have improved so much since 2007 through 2009, people really wanted to get back into that, but there was that fear. And sometimes people think, I know how to figure it out myself. But when you have a professional like you are, and that you've had those personal experiences like you've had, it only makes you a better advocate for them to be able to, purchase the largest thing they've ever purchased in their life. The biggest financial decision, and how to be responsible for that purchase. And if the economy goes into haywire again, how do we responsibly and respectfully, handle the situation and navigate through it? Because life experience brings us to, how we can make these financial decisions, right? I
think it all comes down to just making sure my clients are educated up front, because a lot of people, a lot of agents really just want to take them out and show them property and, get them into a deal. Well, those people are, what I call them is like taxi drivers. All they do is they drop you at a place. They don't care how you got to where you're getting picked up. But, my service is more of a limousine. We're going to find out what exactly you need beforehand and during and even after. So when you're introducing me to people that need a trustworthy, experienced person, they're going to say, he pays the path so you know what you're doing. Because I never want somebody to come back and say, well, why didn't you explain this? I mean, you can't answer every question,
No.
but you can pretty much put out, all of the experiences that people have.
Well, that kind of leads me into this next question for you, because I know how your process works, but everyone listening or watching the show right now has no idea how your point of difference, your process is so different. And I think it's very unique, because when you're purchasing, a $500,000 property, $700,000 property, $1 million property, or whatever the gamut is, for each person, it's so individual and unique, and there's so many emotions attached to it, anxieties attached to, gosh, can I do this? Is it going to go through? What am I going to do? And I love your process, and I'd love for you to explain it, how you become the pilot.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important, because I haven't met very, very many people in the real estate world as far as being an advisor or a true coach in this situation to help them make those best decisions. But your process, I think, if people really buy into this major decision in their life, how they want that platinum service, and I believe that you give that.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, the consultation really is just the same way that you'd be meeting up with a doctor or CPA. I mean, there can be traditional people, or you can have the people that are going to look at the big picture, because after I'm asking, and it really comes down to 7 questions I ask that really bring it up to what is important to you about purchasing. And again, those are, even though it sounds so simple, the majority of agents won't ask those questions. They won't ask financial questions. They won't ask, have you had a bankruptcy or a short sale, or things that are not comfortable. And I would rather have my clients or people that I'm going to help be uncomfortable for a couple minutes, rather than 3 years later come back, why didn't we discuss this? What are we doing? And a lot of my thing, the education is just the homework. You need to be an active part of this, especially. And in working in tandem with you, who is a financial coach, that if we can get these people to look at the big picture and get out of the renter mentality, especially with first-time buyers, then they can see, yeah, I really can do it. But all they do is listen to the news saying, oh, it's so awful, it's so bad.
Right.
And I've been through the up and down cycle. And I would say that probably the better years that I had was in the downturn, because people will come to me and say, oh, you must be doing really bad. And it's like, well, when you base your business on relationships and introductions by people, then your business stays, pretty solid. And really, I don't want to work with 25 people.
Right.
I'll work with 5 people at a time, or 6, and all of those people succeed. Where the traditional agent is going to say, oh, I'll work with 100, and hopefully maybe 1 or 2 will close or come to fruition.
Well, I think that's a huge part of your point of difference, though, as well, is because you want to know the whole person or the whole couple and what their goals and objectives are, and really talk about the difficult questions to ask and get those difficult answers to those questions. Financially, what are you comfortable with? Where's your debt to income ratio? You go into the financials, where a lot of let's say real estate agents don't do that. But if we want to get to the ultimate goal of being in that